Number 10. With both TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt closing in on a title shot, both fighters match up very well against each other. Cody Garbrandt has said in the past that he has knocked out TJ Dillashaw in training. TJ Dillashaw has said that is a false claim. This fight definitely needs to happen sooner than later and deserves a main event slot on one of the fight cards. Number 9. Robbie Lawler was set to face Donald Cerrone at UFC 205 in New York City. Later, Robbie Lawler pulled out of the fight due to needing more time to prepare for the fight, with the UFC looking for a replacement for Donald Cerrone. This fight definitely needs to happen as it's a fight fan's dream come true and could possibly be Fight of the Year. Number 8. For years there was always talk of George St-Pierre facing off against Anderson Silva in a super fight, but the fight never materialized. Both fighters held title in their own respective weight classes for a long period of time and pretty much had cleared out the divisions. Now with both fighters not holding titles anymore, it's time to make this super fight a reality. Number 7. Jon Jones was set to defend his UFC light heavyweight title against Anthony Johnson at UFC 187. Jon Jones was later involved in a hit-and-run accident and the UFC stripped him of the title. Daniel Cormier stepped in as a late replacement and won the vacant UFC light heavyweight title. It will be very interesting to see how Jon Jones handles Anthony Johnson's vicious power and is a very intriguing matchup. Number 6. Dominick Cruz defended his UFC bantamweight title against Demetrious Johnson at UFC on vs 6 and won the fight by a unanimous decision. Since that loss, Demetrious Johnson has won the UFC flyweight title and has looked sensational as a flyweight. He has pretty much cleared out the flyweight division. With only a few contenders left in the UFC flyweight division, it makes sense for both fighters to face each other again. Number 5. Jon Jones defended his UFC light heavyweight title against Daniel Cormier at UFC 182 and won the fight by a unanimous decision. Since Jon Jones defeated Daniel Cormier at UFC 182, Jon Jones was involved in a hit-and-run accident and was stripped of the UFC light heavyweight title and was suspended. Daniel Cormier won the UFC light heavyweight title against Anthony Johnson and defended it against Alexander Gustafsson. Since he lost to Jon Jones, he has improved his game so much, and it will be interesting to see how he does against the man who broke his undefeated record, Jon Jones, in a rematch. Number 4. When Conor McGregor became the UFC featherweight champion, his next goal was to capture the UFC lightweight belt and defend both belts simultaneously. He was set to face then UFC lightweight champion Rafael dos Anjos at UFC 196. Rafael dos Anjos injured his foot and was removed from the event. With Conor McGregor still pursuing a second title, a fight with the new lightweight champion Eddie Alvarez definitely makes sense. Number 3. Conor McGregor defeated Jose Aldo for the UFC featherweight title in just 13 seconds at UFC 194. Since that loss, Jose Aldo defeated Frankie Edgar for the interim UFC featherweight title by a unanimous decision at UFC 200. This will guarantee him a shot at Conor McGregor in the future. Both featherweights have something to prove, as the fans think that the quick knockout of Jose Aldo was simply the luck of the Irish. It will definitely be interesting to see how the second contest will go between the both featherweight fighters. Number 2. Holly Holm viciously knocked out Ronda Rousey for the UFC bantamweight title at UFC 193. Since Ronda Rousey's devastating loss, she has completely disappeared from the MMA world. A rematch between the both fighters will definitely show what improvements Ronda Rousey has made in her game. It will also be an opportunity for Holly Holm to prove that the first win was not a fluke. Number 1. Conor McGregor was set to face Rafael dos Anjos at UFC 196. A foot injury caused Rafael dos Anjos to be removed from the event. Nate Diaz stepped in as a late replacement and submitted Conor McGregor in the second round of the fight, shocking the world. With Conor McGregor obsessed with getting his revenge, they both faced off again at UFC 202, where Conor McGregor won the fight by a majority unanimous decision. Both fighters broke UFC records, making it the biggest pay-per-view of all time. The trilogy fight needs to happen so that we can find out who the better fighter is.